भाई लगाइयो यूट्यूब कॉल।
देखता हूँ यूट्यूब खोलने दो, रुको।
Yeah, hello guys. We are back here again with some another portfolio reviews.
Hi guys, hope you remember me. And this is my friend Priyanshu. I'm Raman, and here again we are up to giving some reviews on portfolio. So this time we haven't received much, but we'll do with what we have here. So Priyanshu.
All right. I would say let's wait for a few minutes before you guys join in, jump in.
See. Okay, let's go through some of this stuff, Priyanshu.
Yeah, some pretty nice stuff. Always out there. It's a nice habit, always go out there on art station and look up to like what people are doing out there in the industry rather than just stick into your own PC, right? Just see like it's always better. Uh-huh. Good stuff. Okay, that's nice. Like that's how like these kind of stuffs are important, right? To get to know like if you got some technical details or not. 'Cause, like crispy renders, they're all fine, they're all there, but yeah, we also need to get to know like the work which you're gonna be doing for your next couple of years. So that's also great. Mm. And yeah, like I mean, like there are like multiple, you can find some articles, some sort of a tutorials out there on art season itself, right? If you guys being into it, so you get some different good forms out there like 80 level, the game art, all those kind of stuff. It's better to go out there, right? You can find some like really nice tips out there which can help you out, improve your maybe modeling, maybe texturing, all those kind of stuff. So that's always great to look out uh into here and there. Mm.
Okay, with all that said, I think Priyanshu should just start anyway.
Okay.
People will just rewatch it. And we have three portfolios today that we are going for. And again, guys, to remind you, we almost do it every week. So it's not a problem. You can send it whenever you want, and we'll try to look at your portfolios here every week. So anytime of the week, it's fine. And if you don't know where to post it, just join in our Discord. You'll find out. So yeah, let's go.
Okay, let's begin with Shivam Kumar, right? Plus, I think Mohammed, you also have sent your portfolio for a review, but I believe you have already did it. So yeah, it's better if you can watch some previous videos of our. So you can get the review which you're asking for. Okay, so for Shivam, for from a first glance, this looks nice. We can see some really complex modeling going on here and there.
The last three, I don't know what he's doing with the.
Yeah, that this one looks pretty plain, maybe. I don't know like how this is a well, I can see the interiors out there. It's kind of like a concept, right? Concept cement poly. Yeah, that's great. Auto matching workflow. Okay, 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 okay. I think it's exterior interior for clean topology. Let's have a look. Well, overall the silhouette, it's look nice. Even though it's look like kinda, some sort of giving a Tesla vibe, Tesla Cybertruck. But yeah, okay, 86 tries to object, 4 texture sets. Okay, I can see like you have optimized few of the stuffs here, but if you go for the, your tires, you can see like these guys, many unwanted edges here and there, which can be optimized, further optimization. Okay, you have created interiors, that's great. That's great. You have tried some optimization here and there, that's also nice. Mm. Okay, so this is your exterior. Okay, I think we have already, been doing a lot of vehicle portfolio reviews here and there. So I would just, give you some same kind of uh, head start with the, topology. Like this is something which really matters, when you render it out. So how your reflection gonna come out at the end. So that's great, you know. And always just make sure, whatever the triangles you are trying to keep in your vehicle, right? Make sure they are like equilateral triangles. Try not to go too much obtuse or, other kind of stuff. Like these equilateral triangles, those are good. Like, you don't get too much of a shading around there, but yeah, that's great. And try to avoid the clusters here. Like you can see the flow of your topology is not going out correctly at this particular point. So that's something which you should look after. Okay, you did model the tires on plasticity. Okay, that's nice. New stuff. Okay, here we have some nice. Okay, so you have a photo matching workflow. So this is a real car out there, right? A concept. That's great. Yeah, again, same stuff, the triangles, you need to work out for these triangles. And we can see a lot of rectangles are there. It's better to, avoid rectangles also. Well, obviously, you can use the rectangles, for further optimization and all. But it's better if you use mostly squares, right? Something like here, like this looks nice.
Okay, and yeah, like just to extend on this particular advice, like in topology, whatever you're making, let's say even if you're doing characters or props, like it's just much better if you try to stick to squares. They're always better. They're pleasing to look at. Not only that, like they also help you to like further optimize everything in a way that like it reduces shading, so you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, and like especially in cars, like most of the difficult part actually comes with topology. So that's something that, like, if you're trying to get higher, that's what the recruiters look for. So I would just try to focus more on my topology. I'll try to learn more. I'll try to look at the assets of other people, try to compare like what they are doing, what I'm doing, and what might be wrong.
And yeah, in like vehicle modeling stuff, right? Whenever you're trying to make, not just in vehicle itself, basically a general modeling practice, right? So whenever you're trying to do some sort of a low poly or a mid poly, which you think it's final for you, maybe move on to some sort of a engine. Always make sure whatever the cylinders, edges you have been taking up, right? So make sure they also follow up till the back. You don't need to go till very back. Maybe you can make some sort of a triangles here, but at least try to match those, or you will get some unwanted kind of low poly structure out there, not matching with the silhouette. Like you can see, like this has some nice curves, but the things are gone here. So make sure these lines are also matched up. So that's also a really good thing. Here I have some sort of stuff from our studio, which you can find on ArtStation as well, right? Here you can see how you can find out some real nice, basic structural idea of like how topology should look like, right? Let me just open up with this. And yeah, same thing goes with presentation. Like this is something you can edit up in your Photoshop, and just make like looks stuff more interesting. Like instead of going here looking for this pose, then this pose.
Thumbnail.
Yeah, and same thing goes with the thumbnail. Yeah, obviously, like your thumbnails look pretty. Like even though it's a futuristic car, maybe some sort of a concept, but still.
I mean, like, yeah, I understand. It's a futuristic concept, even though, like, if I'm trying to look at your portfolio, can you open the portfolio once? Like, I'm not drawn to your first two assets, and like that is because like they are pretty, like, they're too simple actually. They're too simple that, like, the first one, like, if you look at from the distance, it seems like a very novice work. Even the second one, it seems like that you're trying to hide something more than show something. So yeah, like, just keep in mind, like, maybe try to show your portfolio to somebody. Like, they'll maybe ask for your best pieces. What do they think, like, what are your best pieces? If you ask me, I would say, like, it's your first three pieces, not your last two. Okay, so just unlike even for your first one, like you have better renders inside, you can use those. So yeah, just look for other presentation, what other people are doing this, because that's really important. You want people to click on your piece. Okay, so just keep that in mind.
Okay, let's move on to what I was telling earlier. Okay, so yeah, here you can see like the how the the quads are basically some sort of a matching with a square shape, right? You can see, you can notice some rectangles here and there also, but that's something like which you try to avoid. You don't need to have like there is no limitation, right? You can use rectangles as well, but yeah, the overall feel, like if you want a good shading with no sorts of shading issues and all, it's better to have a quad, a proper square basically. Right, so with these, like you can go up to our portfolio as well, and some sort of have an what do you say, a glance at it, like how the things gonna be should look like in terms of topology and all. Same thing goes, like as Raman said earlier, right? The presentation, that's also something which matter. Like here you can see, like this will make people to, click on your artwork, and so then they can share their maybe some sort of a critiques, or maybe they might inspire and all those kind of stuff. And that's a really good things to do, right? So yeah, you also want your artwork to be noticed, right? So yeah, better work on your no first glance. Okay, let's move on to some other, like I don't know why I'm liking this one pretty much better. It's like really complex stuff going on there. A bat mobile, I believe so. Yep, it's nice. So I believe this is all I poly, as every curvature and all stuff looks great. I can notice some dents, but never mind. It's a lot of stuff. Yep. Okay. Uh, Even though, like the structure of this vehicle itself is a bit not too complex, but from your topology, right, the guys can still notice like there is something need to be improvement out there. These kind of topo going here and there, even though it's like smooth shaded, but again, this feels like there might be some sort of a dent if we look closely. All these kind of topology, they are not a good sign. Like if you are trying to showcase your topology, it's better to study some other artworks as well, and to understand where you are lacking up. Like look at this stuff, obviously there should be some sort of a dent out there. Okay, basically you modeled everything by hand. That's great, nice stuff. But yeah, again, topology, things which matters. Okay, I think that would be it for you, Shivam. And again, once again, like you have some pretty cool renders out here at inside as well, right? So maybe go for those kind of stuff. Maybe mix up these kind of stuff. This look pretty nice. Maybe people might notice it up. And same thing goes with this. Like you got some good stuff here, right? Maybe you could have shown this part instead of just this. Maybe yeah, this one also looks nice. You can try out some kind of this stuff. But yeah, it's cool. Okay, you got some sort of animation here as well.
ये ऊपर होनी चाहिए.
Yeah, you could have just pull it up at the top. Would look much better. This looks nice. And maybe if it would be better, like even though you're trying to get some dark like Batman vibes, but still better if you could have just slightly increase the exposure. So the lighting, the whatever is going on, the shading should looks nice. Like I showcased in your this thing. This one also looks nice. Again, whatever you are rendering with your like videos and all, right, make sure you pull them up at the top, because those are interesting. Looks nice. See, this one was a nice style. Really great. Okay, let's move on to Abhinav. Okay, that's a lot of stuff going on here. I can feel some Fortnite vibe. Tourish. Okay, let's move on to your latest assets. Okay, so we can see there is some sudden jump, right? All of these, whatever you have been making earlier, is all stylized, yeah. And now what you got is
Realistic.
realistic. So
I think he studied somewhere. That's why.
yeah, okay, that's also never mind. Let's look at your latest one first. Okay, this look odd. Yeah, the low poly is there. That's nice. That's your zebra sculpt, I believe. You could have done more stuff on your, damages into ZBrush when you're working with woods. That makes it really good. And you have showcased your what you are trying to achieve at the end, right? So what was your primary? Like here, I can see your primary reference was this, right? Blue painted wooden closet, but in the end we got somewhere else. It's always also, it's good like to have a reference at the starting when plus mostly when you are at your learning stage, right? It's better to have a reference to judge from, to copy from, you can say, basically, so you can get to know like where you are lacking up right now. But yeah, overall the presentation looks nice. Like you don't need to showcase these kind of stuff, but I like the UVs, and also showcases wireframe, and then you already got a wireframe, so these two are really good in terms of technical aspect. So that's great. The stickers, you might need to work some more on stickers. They look a bit fake comparatively to your wood. Like this thing is nice, but the amount of damages your wood has gotten, right? Like we cannot able to judge them, to your stickers or even your this thing. Yep. And yeah, the damages you provided here is pretty too intense. So that also something you need to work on. Because like these damages you are seeing on the curvature, but your curvature doesn't have damages. So if you would have added a bit more of a ZBrush sculpt around the edges, then this would have made more sense. And this one seems odd, I don't know why it's here, but never mind, maybe it's something. But yeah, again, it's just something which you can work on. But yeah, overall I would say it's nice in terms of student portfolio. That's great. The presentation is nice, that's what I would say. That's cool. Okay, now we have some sort of a metallic wrench kind of structure. Okay, here the wood, maybe the your whatever you did the latest, the wood is better there comparatively to this one. A lot of stuff are not matching up. Basically, like we are not like able to get the feel of the wood, right? So that's something which you need to look up to whenever creating stuff. We can see some nice dents here, but yeah, these dents are also just there, right? You're not showcasing like how the material gonna react after the dent, right? You got the dent, then you would have some sort of a cavity here, you would have some sort of a edge wear going up around the corners, maybe some sort of a lot of fading of your metallic texture. So those kind of stuff missing there. You could have just treat it as a story, right? If you have given it a dent, then what could have been happened after the dent? Is it a new dent? Is it an old dent? And how you gonna tell them is just by showcasing your texture. Again, presentation is nice. You can see some wireframe, pretty great, nicely done. Yeah, good stuff. Again, this is something which you don't need to showcase, but yeah, these guys are good. Yeah, UVs and your overall wireframe with nice render. This is some good stuff. Keep it up. Okay, let's move on to our third portfolio. Okay, this is something very clustered, which we usually talk about in every portfolio stream.
I mean, yeah, there's like everything. I'm seeing props here, cars here, environment, material, art surface. So yeah, there's everything here. Only thing that is missing is character. Then we'll be a proper journalist. But yeah, Harsh, so like that's something that if you're planning to get hired, so what we talk about is we talk about that your portfolio, it should be, yeah, uniform, so you have to target the place where you want to go, and for that, like, they need to see if you can do what they are doing, and probably you're not going to see if you're applying for some position, right? So you're not probably applying for a vehicle artist plus a environment and a material artist. So choose one thing, I would say, and like just expand on that, Harsh. That would like benefit you a lot more trying to get hired than putting out everything. So I would say like whatever I see, you like a lot of things, so just choose what you like Okay, just choose what you like the most and just advance in that. After a while, like when you're like 70%, 80% where there, if you're hired, like I would say, like you can expand on many things. But like right now in your learning phase, I would say just stick to one thing if you want to get hired. Like that will be quicker. That's much easier.
Yeah, pretty much what Raman said. Okay, so from here with a glance, I don't know what to actually look at. No, too much stuff. Let's move on to the latest one. MTech Extreme Knife. I got some axe, Thompson submachine gun, got some vehicle. Okay, so basically, like what usually happen when you try to grab knowledge of like every specific stuff, right? Is that you won't finally get fine tuned into a single thing. So what do you say, like jack of all trade but master of none? So that kind of stuff. So we can see, like you tried stuff, you tried even some sort of animations as well. Don't go, don't jump early into animation. I mean, it's really good to have fun to play with whatever you have created, right? But again, I would say focus on one thing rather than doing everything. Basically, like we are a team, right? So there are some other guys, they will help you out. Just focus on what you like the most, and then slowly, right? As Raman also said, when you get a bit to some sort of a level, right, then you can switch up to other stuff. Okay, like from this looking just at from this image, right, I can tell there's still a lot to learn. The low poly whatever you have tried to create it, right, that also not there. Like here we can see, we cannot tell like it's a low poly. You created some triangles, but a lot of unwanted edges going up here and there. This specific part can seem to be called as low poly, but apart from it, it's nowhere. Like these. Like basically there are many flaws. It shows like maybe you might not know actually too much about the low poly, which is really important, right? So it's better to, look up to your technical aspect a bit more. Because this is what gonna go in game if I talk about just games only. So if you mess this part up, right? So whatever you have created high poly, whatever you created UVs, whatever you created, right, that won't work out. This thing is important. So better not to mess up these kind of parts. Right? Like here. Like you can notice like there are many unwanted edges going up.
If there's any question.
Yeah, if there is any questions or anything you guys wanna ask, it's better. You guys can comment, we can actually read it.
Raj is saying the screen share is not updating. बदल नहीं आई थिंक लाइक दैट इज सेट ऑन क्या बोलते हैं तो वेब ब्राउजर पे सेट है वो नहीं दिख रहा होगा
Yeah, I believe I did share the whole screen.
ये नाउ इट्स शोइंग नाउ try that now
Okay,
it is
so
the whole thing
yeah, maybe I will go once again. Yeah, so hers like from this specific render, right? It showcase like you really need to work out on your technical aspect. Like the low poly work is not there. A lot of issues. Things are going and vanishing. Not there.
question is what should a guy consider to get a job in your studio
Okay, I would just generally talk about any studio out there, right? So if you are, trying to get hired as a fresher, right? It's better like no one like expect you to know everything, right? As I said earlier also, you just need to know the basic stuff, right? What is the basic pipeline? Because pipeline for every project is different. But what basic pipeline is, you should know how to create high poly, you should know how to create low poly, you should know how to do optimized UVs, and you should know how to do texture. We don't even want that you know how to render. Just basic render would also be fine, but you don't need a lot of renders. Okay, so in this terms also what recruiter would like to see, like how you are managing all these kind of stuff, even in some sort of a time frame, how much time you are taking to create your assets. It's better if you can in your description you can type it out or some sort, like what time you are taking, because like if there's a note there, because and usually like art session is fill up of some sort of a mixture, right? Maybe someone else might have done the texturing for this asset. I'm just taking as an example, right? So the studio don't usually knows like if this guy knows the work or not. So that's why you get the test, right? So on the test everything is there.
Okay, guys, we'll be closing off soon. So I would say, like, if you guys have any questions, please go below. Akash has tried to ask two questions, but none of the two is visible. So Akash, I would request you to question again. Scan data, scan versus image composition.
You guys still use image modeler for vehicle or client have begun providing the scan data? Look, in terms of vehicle modeling, right? Yeah, the client do actually provide a lot of scan data nowadays, but
But
like
not
in
for test.
yeah, but obviously not for test, right? Whenever you are applying somewhere, you will get a test. You won't get any some sort of a scan data. They want you to do whatever the method, like image modeling or no, or camera matching, all those kind of stuff. But it's better to know the basics, right? It's better to know how to model from camera match if you are trying to model a vehicle.
How to make an environment artist portfolio.
How to make, there is no how to make, right? Like if you want a environment art portfolio, you should have something related to environment art. Plus this is not considered as an environment art. I mean, it is there, but as a for a beginner portfolio, you don't need to create the whole environment. Just create a small particular piece of environment. Maybe if we say, for example, just get some sort of a ground, some sort of a tree with some sort of a props there, some sort of stuff there, and that's it. You don't need too much. Okay. And yeah, it's but just better work on your like particular asset by asset. Like if you're taking up ground, the material, the whatever the texture, whatever the materials you have provided there, right? They should look nice to it. Then you will move on.
Abhik is asking what should be in that portfolio. An example, environment artist.
Well, it's tough to find directly here what should be there. Let's see if we can find some up here. You'll get a whole lot of stuff.
इसके ऊपर इसको करूँ.
Yeah, maybe this is something, yeah, better. Try to create these kind of stuff. A lot of stuff like these things. So this would be considered as a nice environment portfolio.
So again, Akash is yeah. So Akash is asking, do you guys hire contract artist or only in house? So Akash, like we hire both actually. So it depends on the role. So if it's a junior role, we can consider on let's say even contract. But like if it's a senior role and if it needs a lot of attention, we would want you to be close. That would have to be in house. But yeah, we do hire both, whatever the need be. And I think like it's also the case for most studios. And so if in portfolio the wireframe and shape and UV are good, then is it the right track to get hired? Yeah, I would say that is the right track to get hired, obviously. So like if your things are good, then it's good. So if your technicals are good, it shows like you know what you're actually doing. So with what happens in our industry a lot of times is that people just create art but they don't know any of the technicalities of it. So yeah, that helps. Your recruiter knows you actually know what to do in games. Shivam is thanking us for reviewing his portfolio. Yeah, Shivam, I would say keep it up, and we hope to see more from you. What do you guys think about tech art? Is there any demand? Yeah, tech artists have a lot of demand actually. Like so, tech artist, it's not like a very linear role. So it's very studio to studio dependent. So technical artists do a lot of stuff. You might want to get like look into it. Like there's a whole sort of stuff like technical artists do. Some of them even do rigging. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So but mostly it's about like setting up the pipeline and like just helping out all of your artists between like communicating with each other in formats of different files. and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a big role, and there's a lot of demand for it too. 20, okay. Do you guys think 3D art is a dead end career, or is it going to stick around for a while? For what I'm seeing right now, like if you're concerned about, all the new things coming up, maybe the AI, so like they are not really that good right now. So definitely it's not a dead end. So as you can see, like most of the things are digitized now, right? So like may it be your ads, may it be your movies, like a lot of them need 3D things, and a lot of them need it on a level which is not automatically created. You need somebody to come in there and actually do it to a level that can be presentable, which is not something that can be automated right now. So I would say, like, if you're good in your field, then you're definitely in demand. If you're very average, or if you're below average, like, I have to be harsh there, there's not going to be much demand for that. So for artists on the like project.
Yeah, it currently depend on the project. For current openings, yeah, I think they are close. Okay, so we
Yeah,
have
but actually we
this.
do have some projects, lining up. So if you
Yeah,
guys might want to just keep updating. We go through all your portfolios, by the way, whenever we can. So I think, yeah, I think that's all. So guys, please now save your questions and comments for the next stream. Now we'll be back. We'll try to be back if none of us get sick. And I think that is it. So yeah, that's me, Raman. I'll be signing off with my colleague Priyanshu.
you